What's going on, nerds? Welcome back to Comic Book Nerd Nation, episode 131. I'm Fox2. We got the whole goddamn crew here today. Pirate,
What's going on, Comic Book Nerd Nation?
Topher,
I'd make fun of Pirate, but
too busy
this
sucking on
Frappuccino is good.
that straw like it's a long, hard cock.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole effing Brian.
Call me the champ
Why?
Champ of what, exactly?
because I got the champ of everything.
It's a pretty bad title.
Yeah.
I know it's generic.
He calls
I'm
you that.
generically gonna fuck you up.
You need to rethink that shit and not shout into your microphone. But other than that, I'm proud of the fact that we have a champion on the fucking podcast, I guess. I don't...
I'm the
If it,
champ.
if it was a trial by combat, would you be my champion?
I'd be your hero, baby. I would take away the pain. I would stand by you forever.
All right, Enrique Iglesias.
I don't want to see him
fuck
get his
down.
eyes poked out by the mountain.
I'm
Yeah.
not the viper.
Yeah, can we
I'm
set
not
up
gonna
a
dance around.
hand-to-hand combat between the Mountain and Brian? Is that a thing? Can we,
a hand job combat.
a quick hand job combat between Brian and... I'm pretty sure he'd beat his dick off.
Look at them, their motherfuckers are beating the shit out of each other's
They're
dick.
beating their dicks off. Oh, God.
Oh, Brian just farted.
Oh, shit's getting real.
Well, if I farted, then I win because he's gonna get his ass knocked out like mustard gas out of my ass in grass.
I'm gonna
Cheap
send him.
ass.
I'm gonna send him a message and see if he'll be a guest on our podcast
So
now.
they're gonna beat your dick off, and he's gonna end up with his ass knocked out.
What?
Mm-hmm.
So, where were we?
Right. So,
Somewhere
Welcome to Comic Book
between the
Nation.
middle of like
The
Game
whole
of
crew.
Thrones.
yeah, I don't know.
We got
This
pirate.
this took a fucking weird turn real early in the podcast, but
I think it
whatever.
was the sword talk before the podcast started.
How about some news, Pirate?
Bump, 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 bump.
Yeah. It sucks for our audio listeners, which is 3/4 of our audience that didn't see the Spider-Man statue. But
You're-
cool story, bro.
Well, they could close their eyes, lean
Well-
back, and just pretend.
Just
Brian,
imagine.
They also didn't
Just
see the
Spider-Man.
heavyweight champ belt over Brian's shoulder, which
Yeah,
was
how come he can use
prior
props and
coverage.
not get called out on it, but when
That's
I
a
use
good
props,
point.
like,
That's a good point.
Because I'm infectious, I get into their mind and show them the picture of what I'm holding.
Yeah,
Just
you're
imagine, sit back and
infectious like a
imagine.
good case of the STDs.
I have got a big chunk of leather over my
You've got
shoulder with a
big
nice
chunk
metal
of fucking
paint.
gonorrhea.
they don't want to hear about your fetish shoots that you do.
Yeah.
No, the leather strap is for the weekends when I come to Ohio.
Yeah,
Stay
this is
over, alright?
this is like
We know how to party, obviously.
this went from Comic Book Nerd Nation to 50 Shades of Grey real fast.
50 Shades of Nerd.
50 Shades.
50,
Welcome
50
to
panels
50
of
Shades of
Splash.
Nerd. Right. So
50 Shades of Spider-Man's Red.
we have talked extensively on this podcast over the last 130 episodes about reboots, and we're going to get into the DC Rebirth here in just a little bit.
Pre-birth?
I think that there was something that happened here with Marvel, though, that I want to talk about. I'd love to get Topher's take on this. I'm not even sure if he knows about it yet.
Are you talking about the
we'll
next
find out.
Marvel Now?
Yeah,
The
Marvel
fall?
announced a new iteration of Marvel Now that will be spinning out of Civil War 2 this fall, because Marvel is now going on what they call a seasonal model with this relaunch.
Seasonal. So they reboot
you fucking
every
kidding me?
season.
You fucking kidding
They're
me?
bringing out issues like vintage comics. And,
They pretty much just proved my point about the fact that they reboot like all the goddamn time. So
it's
now
like a
we
good
can,
wine.
It's not going to be reboots. We talked
it's a
about this.
relaunch.
I brought this up like months ago.
No,
I mean, I don't know exactly
they
how
just
the
announced it
the
like
new-
2 days ago.
Oh,
We've,
okay.
we've talked about this
And-
subject before.
I think
And
we
I guess
have.
they didn't know anything about it until they announced it.
I think it was on the
and
rumor mill.
The
and
thought
Topher
popped
didn't
into
hear
their
it.
heads
maybe
the
we
second
did.
as
All
they were
right.
talking about it.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So go on. Inform me.
I was just saying, like, we talked a while ago about how, they were looking at doing a seasonal model where, you kind of already have story arcs, even with the numbering. Within a run, you'll have a number one, but like the first story arc will be like the first 6 issues, and then the second story arc will be like the next 6 issues. And you tend to see like these 6-issue arcs a lot, but they're doing, at least last I heard, I hadn't actually heard the announcement. They had been talking though about doing something more along the lines of like a TV season where you go like 6, 9, 12 months doing one particular storyline, and you get to go into it a little bit more in depth. But then at the end, like it's kind of like you have a break, and when they start the next season, you don't necessarily have to know exactly what was going on in the previous one to be able to follow. So to me, it doesn't really sound a whole lot different than what they were doing. It's just they're going to make the numbering follow it a little more. So, unfortunately, we won't have long runs, and you won't get to like issue number, 20 something anymore even. And now it's going to be like, however many issues are in a season. But so there's going to be a lot more number ones, which I'm not necessarily a fan of. But if you think of it as the same book, just with different seasons, I can't. I don't know. I can't fault them for it. Like having jumping on points. Having jumping on points for new readers is kind of important, though. Like I'll be honest. I know we said we were going to talk about Rebirth in a minute here, and I picked that one up and I read it. And some of the stuff they were talking about in there, like I didn't have any idea what the fuck was going on, because like I don't really read a whole lot of DC comics outside of Batman, and stuff that was happening to like Flash and Green Lantern and some of this other stuff. It's like they referenced something about Darkseid, and like when that big thing happened with the stuff, and I'm like, am I supposed to know what's going on here? Like this is a 0 issue for a new storyline, and already like I'm freaking lost because I didn't read those.
Wait,
so
are they pulling back to
Sending
Convergence?
SOS. No.
Oh, okay.
Hang on,
Well,
we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that one.
Okay. So
But I'm just saying, like, I understand why. I mean, the comics industry is hurting right now. Like the books aren't selling as well as they used to, but the properties themselves are doing great in TV and movies. So they're trying to make the comics run a little bit more similarly to TV, like because the long running format is just prohibitive to new readers, and if you don't get new readers, then your
hang on. I got to
your
jump in here.
medium's gonna die.
I got to jump in here. I agree with you, and I disagree with you at the same time. I agree that the comic books industry is hurting, and it's directly related to the TV and cinema properties. I think partially the reason that the comic book industry is hurting, the book part of it is hurting versus the cinematic and TV industries, is because of the fact that the cinema and the TV is doing so well. People are able to get their comic book story fixes from TV and cinema now. There's any given person only has a certain amount, a fixed amount of free time to enjoy whatever their recreational or entertainment is, whether it's video games, comic books, sports, whatever it might be. They only have a fixed amount of time to spend doing those activities. So if a comic book fan spends more time watching good television shows that are comic book related and watching movies that are good or comic book related, they're inherently going to have less time then to watch or to read rather comic books in book form. So it's a teeter-totter essentially. You have a teeter-totter. the video aspect is pulling from the from the literary aspect. So I think that's where that's coming from. But I also don't think, I disagree with you in the fact that you said that you can look at these like a season, from one season to the next, because they've said that they're going to reboot some of the characters. So you can't consider a season. In a season, you have a story arc. It would be like if they had one story arc, restart another story arc with the same characters. Same characters. So if you're still reading that same title on season 2, just like if you watch Arrow, you know Stephen Amell as the Arrow, as Green Arrow. In season 1, you've come to like him as that character. In season 2, it's still him, but it's a separate set of stories. It's a new set of stories in season 2. That's not what they're doing necessarily. Sometimes they're going to do that, they've said, and sometimes they're going to reboot. So they're going to frequently be just resetting random titles within these restarts.
Not to disagree with you, or say you're wrong, but like where was this announcement? Where's the source on this? I haven't seen anything that actually talks about frequent reboots.
It was. I can read you the quote from Marvel executive editor.
Okay.
Let me see here. Last week, let me find it here real quick. It's a seasonal model in which new publishing initiatives are launched on almost an annual basis, leading to large-scale relaunches of various titles. It's not a stunt. It's a recognition of the fact that this world we live in has become the demands on the reader's time and dollars are what they are. I mean, I don't know exactly what you're looking for, but
I'm looking for something that mentions reboots.
It's a seasonal model in which they're going to be relaunching titles.
Yeah, relaunching is different than rebooting.
Almost.
Yeah, relaunch means they start with new number ones and they have a new format and they put new writers and artists on it. It doesn't mean they're undoing continuity. And you just said that seasons on TV, like, you maintain your continuity throughout. So unless they specifically said they're going to be rebooting every season, I don't know where you're getting that.
Point Topher.
No, I saw it in here, but I don't want to read through this entire thing without. I mean, I can. Let me
send me the link because I'm interested.
Yeah.
To check it out.
I'll send the link over to you so you can investigate. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm scanning through this very quickly while we're discussing.
Fox, are you jumping the nerd gun?
No. I'm.
That would be very unlike him.
I'm a strong 75% sure that I saw that somewhere.
Oh, there he goes with the numbers again. Fuck.
Yeah. I mean, regardless. Okay. Even if they don't do the complete reboots, even if they do fit the seasonal model in the aspect that Topher's talking about, where the story just resets, the characters stay the same, I still think it's cheap. I think it takes away from it. It's a cheap way of using the fact that people are going to buy number ones. That's what it boils down to me.
It depends, though. Like, I mean,
and DC's doing it too. DC, don't get me wrong.
Here's the thing. Right, and I think in this day and age where, like, think back to the 80s and 90s where if people were, if these companies were manufacturing a comic book and the amount of criticism really only came from the industry itself, not as much as the readers. Like, yeah, I mean, they had like the 800 lines and fans could write in like handwritten letters and shit and mail them to DC and get them in fan talk and shit like that. But like, think now, like all they have to do now is just run a search.
Fucking 40 character tweet.
No, I mean, but these companies can write a search and see what people are talking about in their comics.
Yeah.
So I mean, the amount of information they can absorb from a marketing level is
astronomically
huge. Like, so what they do is they say, okay, well, we are a short attention span society at this point in age. Everything,
sure.
we forget things just as much as, we drive home topics. Like, so I think that it's smart on their end to give us small, palatable, like, bits of information. And then and on their part, it's smart because if they don't like it, if people start shitting on it, which comic book industries fucking are, these motherfuckers, we're harsh. Like,
Yeah, but every industry's
pull
like
no
that.
punches.
Every industry's like that. Look at sports, they're like that. YouTube.
Yeah, but you can't
YouTube
change. You
people
can't
are like
change
that.
a human
Video
being.
games are like that.
Yeah, but you cannot change the aspects of the lineup of the Mets. You know what I mean? There's more that goes into
Okay,
that.
maybe not that, but
You know how I see what you did there.
I'm just saying, like, I think that I don't think that that's what's driving it as much as number one sell better. Everybody knows that. People buy number ones not because they think it's going to be interesting, but because they hope it's going to be worth something someday.
But now with this relaunch, and this is what I need to ask too, because is it going to be a number one that comes out every 6-7 months?
Yes.
Of the same comic. So like Wolverine.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Well, all they're doing is shortening volumes. That's it. They've been doing this forever. They're just shortening the volumes.
Right. But do you really think that that's good for the book? Like, do you think that's look? I mean,
if it's a shitty story, yeah, it's great for the book because it gets rid of that
what
shitty
if it's
story
a good
quicker.
story?
Well, then they need to reevaluate their process. I'm sure it's a title by title basis.
What if New 52 Batman with Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo?
Not Snyder.
After 7 issues, they were like, fucking relaunch. Number one, come up with a new story.
Actually, if it was a good selling book, would they really do that? Now, I do not agree with company-wide.
I'm like, holy shit.
I mean,
what? Who's Mike?
I've been like trying to talk for like 10 minutes. I'm like, what the shit? Why does everybody keep stomping on me? I had my freaking mute button on.
I didn't
so,
even
no, I do not agree with company-wide reboots for the sake of reboot. Like, to me, the only reason why that would be necessary is if everything's shitting. And then at that point, you really need to reevaluate what you're doing.
Honestly, I think this could be a good thing. I'm excited about it. I think it is good for it. And like, here's why. Fox, what comics have you been buying recently?
None.
Okay.
None.
So this is going to get you to stop buying which titles then?
None. But you want to know why I haven't been buying comics, at least recently? Because every goddamn time I get interested in a story, the fucking things are rebooting.
Okay, so I have been buying comics, and here's what I can tell you. Every 6 issues or so, they tell a new story anyway.
Yeah.
Every 6 issues, some new story arc starts.
Hell, some of them aren't even 6. They're like 3.
Yeah, some of them aren't even 6. And what really irritates me is how much they bounce around. You'll have like a few issues that tell one little story.
You think that's going to get better when they're relaunching every 6 months?
No,
when they're launching every... Okay.
No, they said less than annually.
My turn?
I mean, if you want to take it.
So, it says here, seasonal model, this is on an almost annual basis. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be every 6 months. That could mean every year. It could mean every 2 years. It could mean every 6 months, but almost annual means close to annual. So it could be on the long or short side. Huh?
How long since Secret Wars? How long has it been since Secret Wars?
When this launches, it will have been a year and a half since Secret Wars.
All right, fair enough.
Started.
I thought it was more recent than that, but all right.
I mean, Secret Wars started last Free Comic Book Day. Granted, they shipped some issues late and it ran long, and so it didn't finish till
I was going to say, didn't it run
till like December?
4 months late or 5 months late?
It did, but the plan was that it was going to be done in early fall. So
was it Secret Wars the one that? And I could be wrong, but wasn't they the one that had titles still needing to come out and had
Yes.
already started other titles early.
Yes.
Yeah, there was
Without
basically
revenue.
they started their new, post Secret Wars
Yeah.
launch titles before Secret Wars had actually ended.
Okay.
Which was a big fucking whatever. That was a clusterfuck, and I agree that they fucked that up and it did not go well.
Both
But
companies.
I mean,
Here's the thing.
I was gonna say. I
Here's
thought
the thing:
Convergence did the
in
same
recent
thing.
years, they've been relaunching number ones in titles and trying to switch things up on a damn near annual basis anyway. At least if that's the plan and they go into it knowing that, then they can actually plan out the stories in advance. I feel like every time I start reading a comic book, even the ones that run long and run past 12 issues and go, sometimes to 30, 40, God help me, 50 issues, should one actually make it that far. There are very few titles nowadays that actually do it. And even when they do, it doesn't feel like they were very well planned out because the writer didn't know ahead of time that it was going to last that many issues, and so you get short, choppy story arcs that are like maybe 4 to 6 issues long. If they're going to a seasonal model where they say, yes, we know this is only going to be 12 issues, we're going to, start a new season next year, but you get to actually plan out an entire 12 issue arc, I feel like that's a more in-depth story than what we've been getting for years. Like, I see this as a good thing. And when they do start new issues right now, yes, I get it. It's obnoxious, like having them constantly restarted with number ones and moving people around. But even the ones that aren't number ones, sometimes, like right now, when you have a new story arc starting, like it's really hard to know, like, okay, do I keep buying this title? Like, oh, I kind of want to pick up this title, but I missed the first few issues. When does the next story arc start? I've heard this is good, I want to get into it, but I go to those comic book store and you can start flipping through and it's like, okay, I don't know if I'm coming in the middle of an arc or at the beginning. If every arc has a starting point, a clear starting point at number one, yeah, I get it. You're getting up to volume 47, issue 1.
But you have to wait 7, 8, 9 months to get there.
And that may be, but at least it's easier to keep track of for the consumer. Like,
but it may not be. It may not be straight volumes. It may just be like Wolverine Savage.
I have similar feelings to you, yeah. Or it could be like season 2, Wolverine volumes, 4, whatever the hell we're on now. Season 1, issue 1, and then season 2, issue 1, and so it stays the same book. I know what you're saying, and I have the initial same reaction, but I feel like it's a knee-jerk reaction based more in nostalgia than anything. Like, I liked when books got up to number 400. It was cool seeing this numbering go on, and it made it feel like it was a long running thing. But it's too hard to manage.
It didn't make it feel like it was a long running thing. It was a long running thing. It was a long bred like. It bred loyalty to a brand, to a story, to an author, to a character, and we don't have that anymore. Is it really better? Is it really better to cater to people with short attention spans, or is it really better to develop a character over a long period of time to tell the story around that character?
Okay, first off, I think you're looking at the pass-through, rose-colored glasses, because if you look at a run of 400 comics, how many of those were actually all done by one artist with one writer?
I'm not necessarily saying that they were
story
done.
Arc.
I'm not saying that they were done with one story arc. I'm not necessarily saying they were done with one artist or even one writer, but I'm saying that they're done with one character, and it's the same character, even if you're taking a different. Even if you're getting a different take on that character from a different writer,
number on the cover make?
It's still the same character. It's still the same story. It's still chronologically the same.
If it's the same character, but it's a different story arc by a different writer and a different artist, who gives a shit whether the number on the cover is 1 or 427?
I'll tell you right now, Batman, throughout 600 issues of Batman, was not the same drawn Batman.
I know it
It
was.
was not the same
I never
story.
said
Not
it
the
was.
same written. It was
Never
not the
said
same
it was.
drawn. It wasn't the same character. It
For sure
changed
it was-
so much.
Okay. All right.
No,
No,
it was
like,
the
I'm
same
not saying-
character. It was
I'm not
Bruce
saying-
Wayne and it was Batman. But no, it was different stories, differently drawn characters.
I'm not saying that they have to tell the same fucking story over and over and over
No,
and
I'm-
over.
But I'm just saying, like, given what Batman was and has been, would it have been terrible if every time they switched the writer in history, they told people that, hey, this is going to be, you know, this is a new story arc, and they called it number 1 instead of number 427 or 562? Like, would it have changed the story? Would the stories have been worse because of the number on the cover?
I don't
And that's
know.
all I'm saying.
I don't know
And
because that's not what happened. And you don't know either because that's not what happened.
I do know that the number on the cover doesn't freaking matter.
Well, it
Well,
does to some collectors. I mean,
Okay, sure, it
no.
doesn't.
it matters
Like,
because of the
though,
fact that
the
they can-
material.
My point, though,
No.
if it's written the same way, it's drawn the same way. Like if the inside of the cover,
But the
if the
point
inside of
is,
the
they
comic
don't.
was the same,
But the point is, they don't write or draw a number 1 the same as they draw a number 55 or a number
Well,
there's-
it
67.
depends.
Because
It depends on what run you're talking about. Because
obviously number ones, the sales
They
on number
get
ones are
special
inflated
attention.
somewhat because of they do get special attention, and
Exactly,
oftentimes
and
they get.
that's my fucking point.
I don't think they.
It's mine too, though.
I wanna hear
Yes,
what
they get
Brian
special
has to
attention
say.
from
I
collectors,
don't think.
But they
number one-
also get special attention from new readers. The reason that they do so well with number ones and the reason they promote them is because, one, comics is a fucking business. Like, I know that we want everything to be completely artistic and, you know, like, do the story justice and the character should come first, but it's still a business, and if they don't ever get new readership, they're going to go out of business. The stories are all going to die and there aren't going to be any more. So they need new readers. The other reason that number one sells so much is because new readers buy them.
Do you think that
There's a
loyal
lot of
old
attention
readers
devoted
won't
to them
introduce
and
their
a whole-
children into comic books? Do you think that?
But what's
comic
easier
books
to
is-
introduce them
comic
to them?
books is
number
all of a sudden-
427 or number 1?
Comic books is all of a sudden a thing that you can't pass down, even though it's been passed down from generation to generation for.
What if
however
you don't
many
have
years?
someone to? Okay, what if you don't have someone to pass it down? We're not talking about replacing readership. We're talking about new readership. Somebody who doesn't know anybody who's into comics. Somebody who doesn't have
Wait a minute,
you know,
hold on.
a parent
How is
that's a huge
how is
comic
new
collector.
readership any different in whether it's a person that knows someone or doesn't know someone? If they haven't
Because
read
you-
a comic book before, they're a new reader. Whether that's your child, your future child as a comic book reader, or whether it's some random kid that walks by
Because
a comic
you
book
just-
store that's never seen them before in his life.
Because you just said that they have someone to help them get into it. If you have a parent who is familiar with comics and introduces them to it, they can tell them where to start. Somebody who doesn't know anything about comics and doesn't have someone to show them the ropes, walking into a comic book store, where the fuck do you start? Like, I sometimes have trouble knowing where to start on titles, and I
And my
fucking talk
point-
about them
and
every
my
damn week
point-
on a
and my
podcast
point
and
is-
read them and look them up on the internet.
And my point is that they're deterring people like myself that are comic book fans from introducing other people to comic books because they're making it less attractive to me. If I
That
was
is
to
one
have
person's opinion.
okay,
It is very objective.
but
Wait, are you? Yeah.
Just
What are you
because it's
saying-
not how you want to experience, like, I
okay.
think it's great.
All right, so you're
And-
right and I'm wrong. Okay.
Are you
No, I'm not
saying
saying
by
that.
that?
That's not. I'm saying both viewpoints are valid. You're the one trying to tell me
I
I'm
want to hear
wrong.
what Brian's got to say.
I'm
He
trying to
hasn't
say
talked
you're
at all
not
yet.
the only.
What's Brian got to say?
You're not the only opinion.
Well, about the main topic, I don't give a fuck. As long as the story's good, I don't care. I don't care what they
Exactly.
do. They could call it fucking Marvel takes a dump on my face. I'll still buy it as long as it's good.
Marvel fanboy.
Yeah,
Or
no shit.
DC Comics are better right now than I feel Marvel is, but still, I don't give a fuck. Write a good story. This way, if another story starts at number 1 and it sucks, I know not to pick up number 1 through whatever.
And that is a really good point. It is not so much. I think it is more of a deterrent to know what not to buy when they do that than what to buy.
But
Like,
how
yeah,
do you
there's
know when
more
they do a
ones.
relaunch and Say
because
seven,
everybody
say
writes
seven number
reviews
ones
before that shit comes out. I can
all
look
right.
at a
Yeah,
million
that's a good point.
reviews.
That's a good point. All
You
right,
know?
I give you that. I don't know.
When
All right,
number ones come out, I tend to buy a lot of them, and I read them.
So does a lot
and
of people.
But
And I
the
read
thing-
them, and some of them are good, so I buy the rest of the series. And some
I
of them
used-
are terrible,
I used
so
to
I
be
don't. So
all
yes,
about
I
number
bought
one.
But that's
number
my
one.
But that
number
is my
50s.
That's my exact point. Is
But now
that
I
the
got
more
smart,
people that
and
are
I'm
like you, the more people that are that behave the way that you behave, purchasing wise. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's everybody's entitled to do whatever the fuck they want. But the more people that buy, oh, it's number one, I'll give that a shot because it's a number one. The more it entices the companies to reboot more frequently. Why?
That is
Because people are going to go out and buy shit, whether it's a good story or not, because it's a number one and they want to give it a shot. So now, here we are talking about a seasonal model where it's, I don't know, we'll call it 10 to 12 months per relaunch. We won't even call it a reboot. Relaunch. Okay? Well, now they notice their sales are going up a little bit. How long is it? How long does it take for them to say, oh, well, our sales have creeped up a little bit. Maybe we've set it to a 6 to 7 month relaunch period. Creeps up a little bit more because they got more number ones. How long before they're fucking relaunching every other month?
see,
And they're launching all weekly titles and it's relaunching every other month. I'm
if
just
they're
saying,
smart-
it's not. You can be as skeptical as you want, but it's
Yeah.
not that far fetched. It's
It's
not
not,
that
but-
far fetched at all.
if they're smart, they'll do it like TV shows. Well, they'll have like 2 or 3 months, and then they'll have like a month off. The 2 or 3 months, then like a month off, and then like 3 months off or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? How they'll do it in small doses to where they can leave a good cliffhanger. People are stoked about it, and then they kind of just bring it back out. Just kind of like Arrow. Arrow goes on like a couple week breaks in between, or like Walking Dead. Walking Dead does a mid-season split, which is like what, 4 months, something like that. Maybe? I don't know. 5
I'm
months?
just confused because like your entire argument there, like it sounded like you were saying, you know, like you had some deep secret about why it was bad, and it's like, well, yeah, of course that's what they're doing. It's not a secret. It's called advertising. Like that's what.
So are
I
you
guess I
saying
just
that you would
don't
be-
understand.
Are you saying that you'd be okay if they fucking had a number one every other month? A new
No,
number
no,
one
no.
every other
I'm
month?
not. I'm not talking about the exaggerated conclusion you took it to. I'm talking about the premise at the beginning.
But my point is that exaggerated in your terms conclusion is not that fucking far off. That's not that exaggerated. That's
I
not,
think it is.
no.
I mean, for the same title to have a number one
mean,
every
if-
month, that's
if-
no,
Yeah.
not
number
every
one-
month. I said every couple months.
If it was okay, if that were true, like they know this, they know that number ones sell better. If that was really the plan and that was really the strategy, they'd be doing that already. They would be
book a month.
But would
putting
they?
out number
would they
ones.
just? Would they?
Like
Would
every
they just
issue would
switch
be a
it, or
number
would they
one.
slowly work it that way, like they're doing?
if it gets
Yeah,
to that
I mean,
point,
they-
it'll
they-
be
they-
not numbered issue.
All right,
it'll
we
be
need to move
month
on.
and
We
year
need to move
issue.
on
Been
to
doing that for over 5 years
Okay, we're
now.
gonna
It'll
move
be
on
like
to another-
Reader's
we're gonna-
Digest November
All right.
19.
Loud noises.
Yes, we're moving on to another topic because we've spent 30 minutes talking about this, and that's more than enough. Clearly, Topher and I are not going to agree on this whatsoever,
No.
ever. Yeah, let's talk about Rebirth since we already kind of touched on it. Brian,
We've already same thing. I think is gonna the same argument's gonna come out.
maybe this is not a good idea. We'll save Rebirth for next episode.
No, I think-
We'll
Are
just
we
say
talking about the
Rebirth.
comic itself or the reason they put it out?
Story.
Let's talk
Yeah,
about
Well,
yeah.
they both kind of go hand in hand.
Let's let Brian talk for a little while here.
My dick and my hand go hand in hand. But
and that's why his
actually,
I think it goes index finger and thumb.
Yeah, I think it's thimble and rubber
yeah,
band.
index finger and thumb. Got to use 2 hands. Safer that way. The crossing guard always told me when I rode my bike without hands.
And no seat.
Oh,
No, there was a seat. It was just very tall and thin.
yeah,
This is why we don't let
But,
Devin talk.
yeah. That's exactly. You know what? That's the first time I've agreed with Topher all fucking night. Like,
Well, at least I'm not bitching about anything back and forth with John. Hey, John, my dick's bigger.
We'll agree to disagree.
Fuck you.
I thought
It's
you were going to
bigger.
disagree
Just
with
say
him.
it.
I'm not going to lie.
No, I'm just gonna like. I can see mine. I'm fine with it.
I think Pyro was on the fence, being like, you know what? Fuck it. I got a little.
I was
bit.
about to just whip it out on the podcast.
How about don't
but
do
I
it? How
Only
about
if it
don't
has like
do
a.
it?
Mushroom stamp my webcam here.
Do you have a Spider-Man cod piece on?
All right, God damn it! Will
No.
you talk about Rebirth already?
I can put a cape on it.
So,
Change the motherfucking topic again.
So yeah, Rebirth DC's reboot just came out. I thought it was pretty good. A couple things I didn't like. Mainly, there's 3 Jokers now instead of 1, and they're trying to put the Watchmen into DC. I thought it was good. I mean, I understood everything because I know about the past of DC. I like that they brought Wally West back and then they kind of like worked away that I don't know how to say this without sounding like a dick, but the other Wally West, the New 52 Wally West, was Wally West's, the real Wally West's cousin with the same name. They're both named after their grandfather. Everything else was pretty good. I liked that they brought back the pre-52 Superman and killed off the new 52 Superman.
They did.
Yeah, he got like somebody
There's
told
a lot
me.
of people upset about that.
Yeah,
A lot of people. Somebody told me that he got kryptonite poisoning.
Did we read the same book?
Yeah, that Superman they're showing you with the beard. That's pre-New 52 Superman.
Right, but where did they kill off the current one?
In the number 52 of New 52 Superman.
Oh,
They
okay.
say he's missing or something.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, they
I
do
read.
mention.
Yeah, he. Somebody told me they actually read the issue and he's dead.
Okay,
But
so
his name's not Uncle Ben, so it's cool.
so he's not remembering that, you know, he existed prior to that with an old life. That's actually a completely different character.
Yeah, that's the pre-New 52 Superman. Yeah, that's the only thing from Convergence that's like still lingering in DC Comics. You remember the Superman with Lois in Convergence? Him, Supergirl, Parallax, they like go off. Telos sends them into a portal for them to stop something.
Oh no, the only thing I remember about Superman from Convergence was him floating out in space, watching the planet, going, "Well, we better not touch that."
There was a Superman with Lois, and they had a kid, a baby. He left with
Was it on the planet?
yeah, it was on the planet.
Oh, okay. There were
he
so
left-
many there. I don't know which universe they were all from.
That's the pre-New 52. That's the one that came from the past.
Oh,
He and they went off somewhere, and he ended up back on New 52 Earth somehow. I don't remember. And he kind of had like his own that Lois and Clark book that DC has been putting out. I lost my train of thought, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good. I mean,
Yeah,
those two
geez.
things I'm not really sure about. I don't know if I like it or not, but the issue overall, I like how Barry's the only one to remember him and pulls him out of the Speed Force and tells him that Flashpoint wasn't his fault.
What'd you think of it, Topher?
I thought it was really cool. I really enjoyed it actually. It basically read like they were undoing the New 52. Like they were saying, you know what? We know New 52 is a reboot. We said, you know, continuity before this doesn't matter. It never really made a whole lot of sense to me. The New 52 stuff, like how they were just throwing stuff out, but Batman and Flash's history existed except for the parts where it involved other characters
Batman
because
and
they
Green Lantern.
didn't
Yeah, it was Batman
exist,
Green
and
Lantern.
oh, Batman, Green Lantern, whatever. You know, it was just confusing as shit to me. Like that for me made it hard to get into New 52 stuff, even though it was supposed to be a new number one, a new jumping on point, because I'm like, I don't understand what they did. They didn't say that it's a different world. They just
But
said
see-
that it's changed, and they didn't really explain it. So I never really got the whole.
I felt I don't know. I felt New 52 was a much more easier like starting point for new readers. You know, what
I thought
mean?
so
Like,
too.
For
yeah,
new
it did-
readers, yeah, but like
I mean, for people like if you go from like
Pre-existing,
Blackest
like-
Day and Darkest Night and Brightest Day and shit like that, like.
even before that, all the shit like.
But
that,
I mean, like, if you jump into that point, like, if you know, like, just say you started reading right before that happened or something, like, there was still a lot of stuff that didn't make sense, but there was still some stuff you could pick up and gauge, like, okay, this makes sense though. Like,
I had friends that started reading at New 52, and then from New 52 they decided to pick up older stuff, and then once they read older stuff, they hated New 52.
see, the thing I like about New 52, they gave them collars
They gave them collars
gave 'em
and no
collars.
underwear on the outside.
and no underwear. It was so much better looking, so much
Yeah,
better.
stylistically, I liked what they did
Yeah.
in a lot of
And
places.
Yeah.
and
art-
Aquaman was no longer a fucking bitch.
Yeah,
That's Jeff Johns.
Jeff
Oh, I
Johns.
know it's
Yeah.
Jeff Johns.
I-
It's New 52.
I thought this comic was cool. Like it read really well. It was a neat story. I thought it was really interesting. I went back and rewatched. I watched the Flashpoint Paradox animated movie before reading it. You know, just to remember like where that was left off. And so it was cool, like seeing the note that Thomas Wayne left for Bruce and everything. You know, so. That was a cool little refresher, you know, and I like that they touched on that, and you know, it seemed like they were saying, you know, it felt to me like they were undoing New 52 and saying, look, you know, we want to give all these characters their continuity back, like, you know, it almost seemed to me like they were owning up to New 52 being a mistake in some regards, and saying, you know, look, like your histories were stolen from you. Your relationships were stolen from you. You know, we have to set things right. And I thought it was actually kind of brave of them to do that. And I thought it was kind of cool how they did it in universe. Like I always love when there's an in-universe explanation for things that, you know, happen outside, you know, like mandates and story changes and whatever shit. I always like when there's a good in-universe reason for all of it. So I thought that was really cool. I'm a little confused now that to find out that they actually were different characters. So where has Superman existed all this time then? Or where, I guess, I don't. I thought these were the same characters, just, you know, their lives had been altered by Flashpoint. But I guess I don't really know what the deal is now.
For the sake
I mean,
for the sake of the podcast, I am rather than airing my grievance with your point and diving deeply back into our previous argument, I'm going to power forward and instead change the topic again, because otherwise it's going to drive me crazy. Because
Topics change.
yeah, I can't do it. Willa Holland, who plays Thea Queen on CW's Arrow, has publicly complained about DC's separation of TV characters and cinema characters. Pirate, I thought that you would kind of side with her on this. You've aired grievance with that
Absolutely.
in the past. How do you feel about that? I mean, the actors and actresses are actually now going public and saying like this is bullshit.
Good for them. I mean, one, like, granted, I know there's, as far as budgets, I mean, from an actor stance as a work, it's like, hey, we're doing the same job longer than them, but we're not making as much as them. And I get, you know, movies bring in more money than TV shows, I guess. I haven't
do they?
I haven't looked at numbers, but,
Yeah.
you know.
But
No,
do
they
you,
do.
I mean,
I'm sure they do. I mean, you
Yeah,
got to think
a
some
lot
movies
more.
get to $1 billion.
They
I don't
also
know of a
have more
TV
money
show
to
that's
work with.
I
brought
don't.
$1
I don't.
billion.
I have no idea.
I'm just guessing.
I don't know.
So, I mean, I've never looked at comparable figures, but I mean, so they're like, why should it be separated? Why can't we have this one universe? And, you have so many more moving parts in a TV show, I think, than you do a movie. Like, you can have the same person do the same thing in a movie, but the TV shows, you have more directors, you have more writers, and I think the TV shows are able to tell a story much better than a 2.5-hour movie too at top too. Like we have to wait, a year to 2 years for another story to be told, or in a continuation of one story to be told versus a TV show. They'll go, months filming, take a little break, go months filming, take a little break. I thought it was stupid. The whole thing with this, especially the Suicide Squad's a prime example. They had such a great foundation for those characters already laid. And I get that they're going to come out and put this big movie out this summer that's going to be, it's the Suicide Squad. What does it fucking matter? Why can't we have we have in comics, we have multiple Earths. Why can't we just accept it for what it is and say we have multiple Earths?
Even on the TV show, we have multiple Earths now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now with the Flash, it incorporates. It makes sense. Like
I'm really
just to kill them off for the sake of saying that they don't exist. If they came out and said, which they did, that it's two different Earths, they don't exist in this Earth. Why do we have to take away that Suicide Squad versus the DC universe or DC Cinematic Universe Suicide Squad?
In case the TV show one is better than the movie one. If
We
they
already
eliminate,
have that. The fucking Grant Gustin is going to be better than Ezra Miller. Like we already have that. I don't care what anybody says.
I'm really excited to watch Suicide Squad. I am, and I know I'm probably in the minority in that.
I'm excited
and
for it
that's
as
fine.
well. Don't get me wrong.
My one biggest qualm, and I know that Pirate will agree with me for sure on this. The guy, and I don't even know the fucking actor's name. The guy that played Deadshot in the Arrow, I thought did a fucking great job. I really liked him as Deadshot. He just, his temperament,
He's
everything
not
about
draw
it.
as big of a crowd as Will Smith
I
is.
agree that.
Michael Rowe.
Michael Rowe was his name. Okay, well, I loved him as that character. I really did. I thought he was great, and I was excited when they brought him on. And
Like, he grew on me for sure.
He even had like a sympathetic story arc.
yeah,
and,
I thought they really
they did so much with
They
him.
really grew that
I thought he did it all
character.
very well.
But I'm not interested in seeing Will Smith as. I am interested in seeing the other characters. For sure, in the minority, I'm interested in seeing
Marty
Jared
Roberts
Leto's take
and her shorts
on Joker. I think Margot Robbie is going to steal the fucking show as Harley Quinn. I'm sure of that. I think the movie's going to be good. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a good movie. I do. I'm excited to see that movie. But I agree with what Pirate said. I think that it would have been more engaging if they would have incorporated the characters that they had already established in the Arrow into that movie and then built on it with other characters.
Here's where I have to give my hats off to Marvel. They fucking did that.
You're not wearing a hat.
Fuck. It's already off to Marvel. My hat was already taken off to Marvel before this podcast aired. That's where I have to say, at least, and they might have not been the A-list characters, but they at least had the initiative to be like, we're going to use the same character. We're going to incorporate this all together. That's fucking awesome. And I get it that you can't probably do that with characters like, or you might not want to do that or take a risk in doing it with characters like Flash. But, Oliver Queen's not going to be in the Justice League movie that we know of. Who else would not be in? I mean, the Suicide Squad, so you would have had Deadshot, and Katana. Those are the only two.
Yeah, that's it.
You know what I mean?
Not very much bleed over. Why not do it?
And you know what's crazy?
And they're minor
Nobody
characters.
knows who they are. Like
minor characters.
except for people who read comic books.
Right. Well, I'm going to push forward, not because I don't want to talk about that anymore, but because there's two more topics that I would really like for us to touch on, and we only have 10 or so more minutes. First of all, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman is getting a Barbie doll, an exclusive Barbie doll for the San Diego Comic-Con 2016 with a price point at $80. I picked this topic because, I'm not going to lie, in the past episodes, Topher and I have obviously argued over feminist issues, women's rights, blah, 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 whatever. I think this is a bad move, actually. I think it's interesting, but I think they did the wrong thing. I think that they priced this for collectors only, obviously, at $80 a unit. Mm-hmm. And I think that what they really should have done is mass marketed this. I think that's a good character. I think that's a good role model. I think that I haven't gotten a chance to see the movie yet. I'm still working on trying to get a copy to see. But from what I've heard, she really did a great job portraying the character. I think that character, as it is a great role model for young females. I think it's not a scantily clad version. It's not a slutty or overly sexualized version of the character, and I think that that's a great role model for. Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, does she participate in fucking super gangbangs and shit?
Well,
or?
No, I mean not that.
Yeah,
not that crazy. But regardless, I think that would have been a great mass marketed toy for young girls.
But here's the thing:
why market that for $80 a piece?
And I'm gonna regret saying this, but I have experience with collectible Barbie dolls.
It's Barbie dolls?
Not me personally, but my mother collects them.
Oh, hi, Barbie.
And she has every collectible Barbie doll. She has Cher. She has fucking. She has Frank
that's cool, but that's
she
a
has the Wizard of Oz collection. And I think that's really good because one, it may introduce someone, maybe not collecting Barbie dolls, but it may introduce someone to collect, a female to actually sit and collect, because you got to think, how. Don't get me wrong.
You want to start birthing
to argue Topher's point earlier, okay, and he might jump down my neck for this. I don't know. I might misargue it, but
throat.
Is it better to introduce a 40-year-old Barbie collector that is a woman that's has a career and has the money to spend on an $80 Barbie to Wonder Woman, or is it better to introduce a 6-year-old girl that her mom is buying her a $6 Barbie toy to play with to a strong female superhero like Wonder Woman?
Well, why doesn't the mother buy her a Barbie doll with black hair and teach her how to make the outfit?
I'm just saying, and potentially teaching her, potentially gaining a lifelong comic book fan.
See,
I like Skipper better.
I'm interested. I'm going to skip over. I want to get. Topher's been biding his time patiently. I know you have, to some degree, you have an opinion. I think I'm going to align pretty closely with you on this one, but I'm not sure.
Is that degree 98 degrees?
I'm for Topher.
I don't know. I don't know that I necessarily feel strongly one way or the other here. I know that there are. I don't know a whole lot about Barbies. I'm pretty sure they have made other collectible Barbies.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they have.
Special editions that are way more expensive.
Yeah.
So if you're going to make a collectible Barbie, I think Wonder Woman is an awesome choice for one. But I do have to agree with your point that it'd be cool, to have toys at a more approachable price point for common, everyday girls' toys.
I guess my point is that it's better for them to have. It's better for them to have a Wonder Woman toy readily available than a teen mall hipster Barbie or whatever the fuck the new thing is with a cell phone,
Right.
blonde hair, and big boobs.
But you
That's
don't
my
think
point.
that they're not making who,
Well, I
don't
who
think
makes
they
these
do
toys?
that.
Is it
But-
Mattel or is
I
it
don't know.
who?
As
you don't
long
think
as
they're
we're
not gonna
putting
have
on,
it?
as long as we're putting on each other's hats, then I'm going to give a Fox argument and
All right,
say,
give it up.
why doesn't some other company make a Wonder Woman toy then? Like Barbie is an existing character, has been around since the dawn of time.
Well, they are.
You can't
Hot
just
Toys has got
you can't
one.
just you can't just change Barbie for the sake of changing Barbie. Like Barbie is Barbie. If you want to make a Wonder Woman toy, make a new toy. You can't just make a Wonder Woman Barbie because Barbie is Barbie.
Well, that's
Yeah,
not
that
really.
invisible.
That's not really.
that
That's pretty.
invisible-
That's a pretty. I'm not gonna lie. That's a pretty awful Fox argument. I mean,
That-
I see where you were going.
That's how
with
you
it.
are about every. That's how
I
you are
see-
about every character.
I
You're always
see
like,
where you're going with it, but that's a pretty awful argument because they've done it 1,000.
it is a pretty
times.
awful argument. You're right, but you make it on every single character.
I want.
Yo, how is
you up?
are they gonna make a Batman Ken and be like, "Come on, Barbie, let's go do justice"?
Come
Okay.
on, Barbie, let's go party.
Oh God! All right, we're gonna get one last topic on that note. Netflix announces that it has struck a deal with Disney to be the exclusive pay TV home option for all upcoming Disney, Lucasfilm, and Marvel movies. That means you will no longer be able to purchase or rent Marvel movies, Star Wars movies, or Disney movies through through Hulu, Amazon, or iTunes.
Tell that to the internet.
Yeah, internet.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
that sounds
Netflix.
good, but the internet always finds a way to
Well,
get
no,
it.
obviously illegally it's still going to be available. I'm just saying, legitimately, there's not going to be another digital at home offer.
I mean, you know what?
That's a big
That-
change in the landscape.
It's a
Is it?
slight change in the landscape.
And you
I
know
would
what?
say it's a big change.
Netflix and Disney are gonna get that dollar.
I mean, I
You don't
it's
think
good
that's a big
because
change in the landscape?
These
I don't
streaming
really see it as a-
services pretty much all have exclusive deals. Like whenever something's on one of them, you pretty much can't find it on the other ones anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's a pretty big property. I mean, you got to think that's
I mean,
like doesn't Disney owns
It is,
Pixar
but-
too, doesn't it?
Exclusivity
So it's-
DreamWorks, one of the two.
So it's like
exclusivity deals have become like the norm for all this shit.
yeah, I'm
though.
just
Like,
saying
it's
this
just-
is
it's
this
the way
is
the
a
business
huge one.
goes.
You got to think
Welcome
that's
to the streaming age.
75.
Yeah, I mean-
that's a huge chunk of the children's film market. That's
Again, it would be
Star
nice if it were
Wars.
on all of them.
and Marvel, which is Marvel
would-
is the superhero like
Oh, it's-
cinematic
it's
market
for
right
sure.
now.
It's for sure a big deal. I'm not saying it's not a big deal. I'm just saying it's not really different than how they've been doing business for the last several years, and it's just kind of is what it is at this
I
point.
mean, what's the one Star Wars show that the cartoon they
Rebels?
Yeah,
or Clone Wars.
Clone
Clone
Wars.
Wars.
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
that and created and funded the sixth season for it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah. The last season of Clone Wars was is a Netflix exclusive.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I don't disagree, but now you're talking.
Daredevil's a
but
Netflix
now you're talking like
exclusive.
Rogue One. When Rogue One comes out, it will first be available on Netflix.
no,
It
it'll
won't-
first be available to buy on
No,
DVD.
no,
they're not
it won't.
gonna. They're not. What?
No,
you can't
digi-
go out to the store and buy it.
digitally. It will be available on Netflix to rent or purchase. It won't be available on Amazon right now. The way that it goes.
if you pay monthly, you're not going to be able to watch these when they put them up there.
No, you'll be able to buy it in addition to the stuff that.
Oh, so
Yes.
you have to buy it to
yes.
watch it.
No, it'll come out. It'll
Interesting.
come out in the regular queue when it comes out, like it would normally.
Okay, so
But
what
just
if,
like now, like right now, when Deadpool came out, for example, I could purchase it on Amazon Prime before,
Sure.
like 2 weeks before it came out on DVD and hard copy.
but here's the thing.
That will no
Say-
longer be a thing for Marvel.
But here,
movies.
how are they going to do this? Which is, it's fine on one scape, but on the other scape, it's not. Say, for instance, I pay my, what is it now, like
$10 a month.
$9 a month. I think I pay $9.
It's $10. It's going up to 10 this month.
Okay, so I pay my $10 a month. I buy Rogue One. Okay, when
Seriously.
I no longer want to pay for my $10 a month Netflix account, will I still be able to go and watch Rogue
I
One?
don't know. With
They
with
don't have
Amazon,
a download.
With Amazon, you don't have to have an Amazon Prime.
Are you sure this isn't for? I mean, there's no way to buy anything digitally
I
to
think
own
that,
on Netflix
I think
right
that's
now.
changing though. I think that's part
Are
of
they
this
going to have
situation.
like their own like purchase digital locker service thing, or are we just talking about the streaming right?
I mean, I'm
If
not
that
100% sure, but I think that's what they were talking about. I could be completely wrong. But
if that happens, I'll tell you right now, people are just going to download it illegally and be done with it.
I mean,
Like,
people are just going to buy the Blu-rays like they've been doing. Like, I buy movies that I really want to watch over and over again. I buy. If they happen to be streaming on something, awesome. You know, if Netflix gets deals to stream everything I want to watch, well, I already have
I don't
Netflix.
know,
But if like Hulu did, then maybe I'd switch to Hulu. But like this whole exclusive content thing, they've been trying to do that for a while now.
I don't know. I mean, like Deadpool, I know I'm gonna watch it a ton. I bought it on Amazon. Why? I can get it in HD. It's damn near as good quality as Blu-ray. And if I ever move or relocate, or if I want to watch it when I'm somewhere else, I don't have to physically take the copy anywhere else. Just like the rest
or the
of
copy
my
doesn't
Amazon.
get ruined.
Exactly. And there's zero chance of the copy getting ruined or stepped on and broken or lost. All of that.
It's,
it's
not to
there's
cut you
definitely
off, but
some value there.
they're going to
Until you
start.
don't have
Netflix
Amazon
is
anymore.
going to start exclusive pay TV home.
There you go.
Really?
Yeah, it just
Okay.
announced the start date a couple of days last week.
There you go.
I'll be canceling. I'll personally, I'll be canceling.
I'm actually probably canceling Netflix this month. Actually,
Why?
I just don't think it's worth the money, and they're raising it $2 a month. They don't have the content that we're looking for, and between that and Hulu Plus, I can bundle and get internet and cable and get the same shit and just DVR everything. So
I
that's
got it.
probably what I'm gonna do.
I watch so
That's
much
why-
shit on Netflix.
To be
Yeah.
honest, they pretty much
But
priced
also,
themselves out of it. I mean,
I
For the
also
same
don't pay
cost,
for
for the same
Cable
cost, I
and
can get fucking cable.
internet.
I'm gonna pay the big chunk of its internet, just because, like with the podcasts and things, I have to have good internet to be able to stream this and record.
Well, I'm
it
not
and
saying
everything.
you should get
But, like,
Netflix
no,
instead
I'm
of
just saying-
internet.
No. I know you're not arguing for
kinda
that.
have to have
I'm just
one or
kind
the
of
other.
justifying my rationale. But like, most of my cost is already going to be consumed by internet, and they've already called me and talked to me for like another $15 a month. I can have like 150 channels plus DVR. So it's like, well, shit. I'm going to be spending $20 a month for the Hulu and the Netflix that I'm paying now. I can get everything that's on Hulu and everything that's 90% of what's on Netflix on cable and DVR
It
it.
is on Hulu. I don't
It's
have Hulu.
mainly
'cause-
TV shows. It's mainly TV shows.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
nice
have
for
cable
like
and
Arrow
Netflix,
and
and I
Flash.
watch
and
more
Yeah,
Legends
it's
and
really
stuff.
all I watch on it is Arrow, Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow. So
Oh, see, I have cable and Netflix, and I probably watch more Netflix than I do anything else.
yeah,
All the
I
stuff
don't
that I
watch
could be
much on
watching for
TV.
free on TV, I watch on Hulu.
Yeah.
Like,
So, all right. Well, that's about it for this episode. Yeah, that turned into quite an interesting episode after that first point. But I'm Fox 2. We got Pirate.
everyone have a great week. Be safe. Enjoy your time thinking about and listening to this episode. I hope it was
He was
enjoyable.
going to
for you.
say Memorial Day, but that's already passed.
Yeah.
And
Enjoy your next holiday, whatever it may be, wherever it may be.
We got Topher
Fuck being safe. Go take a risk. Have fun.
and the whole effing champion.
The champ is out.